Good morning.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah. What's going on in your morning over there?
Is everything fine?
Yeah. Good. Do you have plans for today?
Yes. Uh, I have to study a lot because I'm going to take masters on coming Saturday, so I have a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll be busy
Yes.
practicing and
Yeah.
remembering. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Well, I hope it's a
Uh,
productive day for you.
yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you guys. We're starting slow this morning. That's all right. I've had a pretty good day. Trying to think what I did. I had a fun day with my kids. They were in like a really happy mood today. And so we laughed and we laughed and we laughed together today. Uh it was a good day. Yep. At the church I'm going to, I work with the kids on Wednesday nights, which is my time. So I don't know, an hour ago I was working with them. And they're learning about God, they're learning about Jesus, but then we also like right now we're learning about like outer space. We're like combining like different things to learn. Anyways, so I think it's so fascinating. I haven't learned about outer space since I was like a kid myself, and I haven't like read any books or like learned anything further on my own. It's just so interesting. We were watching this video about like the solar system. I'll bet you could YouTube it. It's probably on YouTube. And like an accurate scale, like these scientists people went out into like the middle of the desert and like created this accurate scale to like the solar system. So like the little planets were like so small, like little marbles, and they were placed like miles apart to like show like an accurate system of how far away like to scale the planets in the solar system are. I don't know. It's very fascinating. I think outer space is very cool. So that was interesting. I learned something new today. Well, it's good to see you all. We'll go ahead and get started here. We will start with a speaking prompt. And today's speaking prompt is pretty chill. Let me share my screen. I kept it pretty broad. I thought we would just talk about something fun. It says, do you have a favorite book or a TV show or movie or type of music, or maybe you're like into video games or something? I was just trying to put like a few different options up there. You don't have to answer all of them. You can like choose one, or talk about two or whatever you would like to. What is it? Why is it your favorite? I was just gonna put book, and then I was like, oh well, but maybe people aren't like readers. And so I was like, well, then we could talk about other things. I was trying to think about what my favorite book was, how I would answer this. Like, I've read a lot of books. I really like reading, and I'm slowly getting back into reading. When I was in college, I kind of quit reading, and now I'm getting back into it. I read a book over the summer in like a day. Was it in a day? I don't know. It was so interesting. So one of my favorite authors, her name is Louisa May Alcott, and she like lived, I don't know, years and years ago. And she just writes really wonderful fiction books that are just like really happy and homey, and the characters are so well developed and thought through. So like if you've ever heard of like Little Women, she wrote Little Women. That one's like very common American literature. um and anyways, I read one of her books that like wasn't published when she was alive, and it like they went back later and published it. It's very interesting. uh it was all about like uh that life isn't always easy, but you can choose to like do what's right. Anyways, I don't know that that's my favorite book, but I liked reading it. It was fun. So if you would like to share, feel free to put the emoji hand. You can also just unmute. You can share what your favorite movie is, or your favorite book, or your favorite TV show, or maybe you have a favorite kind of music, or something like that, what it is and why you like it. And again, you don't have to answer all of those. You can like choose one of them. Is there anyone who'd like to start out? Would anyone like to share? Yes, July. Or is it supposed to be Julie? Hi. How are you?
I want to tell about my favorite music.
Uh-huh.
My favorite music is Taylor Swift songs, all of them, but I like one of them is like Daylight. It is my favorite sound since it is so good to listen. And when I listen that sound, I feel like joyful. I always know that, not often, sorry. I always listen that sound when I go to bed or when I go somewhere with cars. Um, yeah. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah, teacher. I like that sound.
Taylor Swift is very, very popular in the US. People talk about her kind of all the time. I have friends who have like t-shirts based on some of her songs and just like very, very popular. She's very popular right now. So that's cool. Yeah, people like her music a lot. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? Feel free to unmute. Put up your hand. Yes, Jack.
Okay, so to be honest, that when I was child, I really hate reading, but now I'm really enjoying reading because like a lot of my friends they read a lot of books and they told me like they suggest me to read a book. That book like really good, but now I'm really enjoy reading and I really thanks for my friend for just suggesting me that. But like now I'm reading from the book called Master Your Time, Master Your Life. It's from Brian Tracy. Is about time. Is the book mentioned there's a lot of time how to split your free time. That's I really love and I enjoyed that book. And also that uh, Brian Tracy is my favorite author, and especially like I heard his book Eat That Frog. That is really fantastic book I have ever read. Yeah.
That's really cool. It sounds like it could be helpful too. It's not just like to enjoy,
Yes.
but you could
Yes.
actually like learn from it and improve your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love books
Thank
like
you.
that too. Like I tend to read more fiction books, but every once in a while, like I read a nonfiction book that's like informational. I'll read like like history books or whatever. But
Uh,
and I love getting to like learn new things when they're well written and it's actually like helpful information. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's yeah.
What? Oh, yes, that's awesome. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Cece.
teacher.
Hello, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a
Yes.
while.
Yes,
How are you doing?
yes. I'm a little busy now. My students, some of my students are taking monthly exam.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I just be busy. Good
Okay.
teacher. Nice to meet you.
Yes, it's so good to see you. I've missed
Yeah.
seeing you.
Yeah. I'm movie fan. I'm movie lover. I used to watch a lot of movie in the past, but not now. Yeah. I'm the kind of person who watch movie again and again. Just one movie if I like. Yes. There's one movie. It's Chinese movie, Chinese drama. It's like Creamy Warrior. Yes, it's Creamy Lead. It's like the movie is about one of Chinese powerful dynasty. Yes, but there is still a slavery system. Yeah, slave. Yeah, the female lead is like she loses memory. She became one of the slaves who search their master, and later on she becomes the female warrior of the country and fight. But there's very different story. It's like very little confused, but it's great powerful female warrior vibe who may can do. It's like very powerful story for female, you know, society. It's great like inspiration for me. Yes, you can do for the basis, for the talk. Yeah, it's really a powerful story. I recommend it to you. It's like, for instance, AJ. Yes, she's not. She don't know nothing about computer martial art. Yes, but while the master teach her how to fight people back and forth, she's learning by forehand. She becomes like expert in martial art, and she becomes a warrior. Yes, but this is little son 80. They don't taught each other how they learn. They just like little strategy movie. Yes, I think so. But it is really great movie. It have like yes, it gave like moral lesson too. Yes, people can do. They broke the rule and they show how the system changed. They change the system or dynasty. They perish the slavery rule. Yeah.
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 It sounds so fascinating.
Yeah, it's present aging. It's been a long time. I will be watching like this movie for 3 years. That's whenever I have free time.
Yeah, that sounds really, really cool. Yeah.
I recommend it to you, teacher. It's really good.
Remind me what the name is. What's the name of it?
PRINCESS, Princess.
Oh, Princess?
AGENTS, agent.
You can type it in the chat. I'm not going to be able to get it from just the spelling. I have to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Cece. That's awesome. Okay, I'm sorry, Theta. It's Theta, right? Is that right? Okay, Theta. Hello, how are you? Would you like to share?
Yes, I'm fine. You?
Good.
Okay. I would like to share about a movie. See, I kind of watch everything like anime, cartoon, Disney movie, like Pixar movie, everything. I watch everything. I also read manga, but I also read Indian movies. And the movie I'm gonna share about is Indian movie. Usually, people say that Indian movie has so many songs and they are dancing like almost every time. But this movie has no dancing sense. No dancing sense. It's just good. It's about a family that they are like the parent and the two daughters. One day, the big daughter meet the mayor's son in a school trip, and like, you know, when she was showering or she was changing her clothes, that mayor son like her, and he like record her showering. Yeah. And after they back to their place, they back to their city, that mayor's son blackmail her with that video. So yeah, and blackmail her, and so her mom and she like they are accidentally kill him. So his dead body is just there. And when also the main character is their father. The father who only passed grade 4, but he only passed grade 4, but he watched a lot of movie, a lot of movie, and he speak 4 languages because of watching movies so much. Yeah, and that was a really great. I think that's so brilliant. And he was not there when those things were happening. So when he come back, he buried the body, and like, you know, some cases happen and they have to, like, you know, solve it. The police involved, since it is the mayor's son, there will be a lot of trouble for them to that membrane is like so brilliant according to the character. So nice. He is like he just think before something happened. He just think before that happened, and he just always do the first move. Like sometime once his kid know that the body was buried in their like garden, and the police are like investigating them, and they are taken to the police station and being asked so many questions. But the little girl, the youngest girl, he know that the youngest will tell the truth because she's the youngest kid, and she really scared of her parent and her sister being slapped. You know, police, Indian police are always slapping, you know, beating. Yeah. So she told the truth, but her father already moved the body to another place. So that was a big ending, and there is a movie 2 of it, and it was really good. Movie 2 is also really there is a lot of thinking concept, and you know where he buried the body. He buried it under the police station. That is so yeah, that is so unexpected for me too.
Yeah.
It was a really great movie. Yeah. The movie is Drishyam, which means vision. Yeah.
Okay.
Really,
Yeah, that sounds very exciting and intense and like mysterious and twists and turns. Yeah. Very interesting. Uh-huh. Yeah, I like this kind of movies where you're trying to like kind of figure it out as it goes.
Yeah, the Drishyam too will make you think more, because like how he do all this stuff, like he kind, you know, to have the exact body of the dead body, he go to the graveyard and meet the man there. I mean, like who waiting, always waiting for the grave. You know, I don't know how to tell that guy, but you know, he go to there and he found the exact same person who got hit in the head, that is the same age like that, and he buried it another place. He buried in that police station. Yeah. Then they test out the DNA doesn't match, and they have to look for it again, and that's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very fascinating. Thank you for sharing, Thina. Very interesting. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? Alrighty, we will move on to our article. Let's see, I'll move you guys over here. So I found this other website. I'll agree to that. Let's get that out of the way. I kind of looked through this article. So it's a shorter article, but I think that's okay. If we have time, we'll just do 2 of them. And I just thought it might be interesting to try out some new articles, some different websites. And hopefully there's some good vocabulary in here. Thank you, Theta. Okay, this is about coral reef ecosystems. So we'll go ahead and read through it, and then there's only 3 paragraphs. So then we'll go back through the paragraphs and talk about any vocabulary. And like I said, if we have time, then we can move on to another article because they're all kind of short. And if not, then we'll end. So we'll go ahead and begin. The Earth's coral reefs teem with diverse forms of life, from tiny microscopic phytoplankton to giant whale sharks. As much as 1/4 of all ocean species depend on coral reefs for food or shelter, a remarkable statistic considering that as much as 1/4 of all ocean species depend on coral reefs for food or shelter. A remarkable statistic considering the reefs cover less than 2% of the ocean floor. Coral reef ecosystems play a vital role in maintaining Earth's marine biodiversity and are economically and culturally valuable. Reefs protect shorelines from storms, provide food for millions of people, and create both jobs and revenue in the tourism industry. However, the bad news is that coral reefs are in trouble. Reefs respond in complex ways to environmental stresses such as varying sea levels, rising ocean temperatures, and pollution. Rising water temperatures linked to climate change threaten the health and function of these fragile ecosystems, triggering events such as coral bleaching. Overfishing of key fish and invertebrate species and overharvesting of corals disrupt the natural systems, introducing invasive species and resulting in coral disease. Researchers aren't sure exactly how bad the status of Earth's coral reefs is, because few of the world's reefs have been scientifically studied in depth. Most coral reef measurements to date have been made by labor-intensive diving expeditions, which can sample only one very limited site at a time. Many reefs have never been surveyed at all. To address this issue, NASA has embarked upon a field expedition to examine the Earth's coral reefs. The Coral Project, short for Coral Reef Airborne Laboratory, uses advanced optical instrumentation to survey the condition of coral reefs. This project will give scientists a unique opportunity to understand the ecology and condition of coral reefs at regional and global levels, rather than relying on patchy single-point surveys. It is hoped that by gathering accurate data across a wide range of reef ecosystems, scientists will be able to develop an overarching quantitative model that describes how and why reefs change in response to environmental challenges. I feel like the size of this font, or maybe the blue background, my poor eyes are having a lot of trouble seeing the words. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our first paragraph here. The Earth's coral reefs teem with diverse forms of life, from tiny microscopic phytoplankton to giant whale sharks. As much as 1/4 of all ocean species depend on coral reefs for food or shelter, a remarkable statistic considering that reefs cover less than 2% of the ocean floor. Coral reef ecosystems play a vital role in maintaining Earth's marine biodiversity and are economically and culturally valuable. Reefs protect shorelines from storms, provide food for millions of people, and create both jobs and revenue in the tourism industry. So are there any questions about vocabulary, content, how you might be able to use something in a different sentence, different context? Any questions from this first paragraph? Feel free to just unmute, or you can put up the hand emoji.
Yes,
Teacher?
does it mean revenue?
Say it one more time.
Revenue?
Oh yes, revenue. Revenue is like the money that you earn if you own a company or you own a store. It's the money that you get from like selling something. or providing a service. You don't really say that like your paycheck is revenue. I don't think, at least that's not like just common usage of that definition. It's more like using like a store, a company, a business gaining revenue from the goods or services that they sell or provide. Cece, did you have a question?
Yeah, this has the phytoplankton is scientific name, biology name.
Yeah, phytoplankton, I believe, are like the really, really tiny creatures. Because like plankton is like those tiny little like creature fish, whatever they are in the ocean that like sharks eat, you know, I think. And so I think the phytoplankton is like very, very small. And yeah, it's like a scientific term, like very, very small creatures. Because microscopic, right, means like very small. You can't see it without a microscope. And I'm pretty sure that sharks eat it. I could be wrong. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Any other questions? Okie dokie. We will move to paragraph 2. However, the bad news is that coral reefs are in trouble. Reefs respond in complex ways to environmental stresses, such as varying sea levels, rising ocean temperatures, and pollution. Rising water temperatures linked to climate change threaten the health and function of these fragile ecosystems, triggering events such as coral bleaching, overfishing of key fish and invertebrate species. Sorry, I'm tired. And overharvesting of corals disrupt the natural systems, introducing invasive species and resulting in coral disease. Researchers aren't sure exactly how bad the status of Earth's coral reefs is because few of the world's reefs have been scientifically studied in depth. Most coral reef measurements to date have been made by labor-intensive diving expeditions, which can sample only one very limited site at a time. Many reefs have never been surveyed at all. Any questions here?
Actually, it's coral reef.
Like, what is coral reefs?
Yeah.
So like in the ocean, there's all sorts of creatures, right? And coral, I'm not a scientist. I want to say it's like a plant, but I think I remember learning somewhere that it's like a categorization in between like a plant and an animal. I might be able to look up like the scientific definition, but essentially it's like in the ocean, and it like grows up. Let me look really quick.
Standard job then. Morning.
Yeah, it says corals are animals. I thought so, but they look like plants. So this is what they look like. So it looks like you know, like they're plants growing up, but they're technically like animals because they like, I don't know, grow together. I'm not a scientist, but they're like these things that grow in the ocean, and the reefs are how like they grow all together in like a group together like this, and it can get like really, really big too. Sorry, that wasn't a great answer. But I don't like know exactly what they are. I just know that they look like that.
Thank you.
Cece, did you have a question?
Yes, teacher. IMVSIP, advanced species. Line about 5, 6.
Species, where is it? Oh, yes, invertebrate.
Oh, no, that's other. That's below. Invasive.
Invasive.
Yeah, invasive.
Invasive. So it comes from the word invade, right? To like get into one's space or into one's territory or place that they live. So invasive means to like an invasive species will like either grow or it'll go into a place and kind of destroy the population that's already been there. So we have like invasive like weeds where we live. And so they come in and they destroy like the natural plants that occur. Or you can have like an invasive species of fish get into a pond and they like eat all the other fish, or they eat the like food that all the other fish eat, and so then all those other fish die. And so it just means that it like comes in and it destroys the natural like ecosystem or balance of all the creatures that and plants that live there. You can also use it like in the same kind of thought, just in a different context of like taking over something. So someone can say you have like an invasive like disease, like if someone has like a disease in their body that is like, you know, cancer or something, it's invasive, like it's taking over and like destroying the good cells in your body. So that would be like invasive. Invasive can also mean like surgery can be invasive, right? Because it like it's not taking over anything, but it's like invading or going into something you don't normally go into, right? People don't normally have things put inside of their bodies, right? And so when they have surgery, that's invasive or it's abnormal to like go inside of your body. That's not a great definition, but people can use it in that sense too. It's like doing something that's abnormal or not normal. It's like going into something or doing something that you don't normally do. Anything else? Oh yeah, there was something one in the chat. It said
Triggering.
it disappeared. Uh-huh.
Triggering.
Triggering. Okay. Like making to happen. Like it's the event that causes something else to happen. It's like the cause, causing something to happen. Because if you think about like triggering, like if you think about like a gun with a trigger, you pull the trigger and that shoots the bullet out. So it like causes the bullet to be shot out. And so it's kind of that picture of like it causes something to happen.
Sure. I'm a little bit confused at the part where it says that over harvesting of corals. I mean, why do people need to harvest corals? I mean, why do they need for it?
That's a great question. Honestly, I have no idea. Maybe they're valuable in some way. Why? I'm gonna look it up. A source of food, people say. They say there's like limestone and other like materials, like minerals and stuff in there people will use for like construction. People use it for like in their aquariums or in jewelry or like in tourism type things. Also, like, I don't know, I haven't thought about coral in a long time, but there's something about like when you touch it, it like can't grow as well or it stops growing or something. So then like people will go to look at coral reefs, but then they like will touch them and then it like messes up the like growth that it has because it takes a long time to grow. So I guess those would all be some of the reasons why. Coral reefs are really, really interesting. I wish I knew more about them. But they're really fascinating how they grow and like where they are in the world, and they're really, really beautiful, and it's really cool. They're kind of like a species all of their own. Anything else from the second paragraph?
Yes. What does it mean labor intensive?
Yes, I was literally just looking at that. It means that it takes a lot of labor or a lot of work. So when people talk about labor, they mean like work. People usually will say like manual labor if like you have to like use your muscles and carry things and build things and you're like working really hard. But labor just means like the work you have to do. And intensive just means like a lot that is really hard. It's very intense. And so it's like labor intensive. Yes. Good questions. Anything else?
Teacher, expeditions.
Yes, expeditions. This means like expedition, like a journey for the purpose of discovering something. So in US history, in the United States history, we had explorers go on expeditions and they would travel across the US to be able to create maps to say, this is what the land looks like, this is where you can go, this is how you can build a new settlement. Or if you think about, I know mainly US history, like the history of how the US North America continent was even discovered, right? People went on expeditions across the ocean to be able to find new land. So in this case, they're going on a diving expedition or this like journey to discover coral. Anything else?
Yes. How about invertebrate?
Yes, and let me look it up really quick because I always say invertebrate. But that might actually be a different word. It might be invertebrate. Let me look it up really quick how you pronounce it. Invertebrate. Hang on, I gotta get it like in the dictionary. Okay, so this one is invertebrate. So an invertebrate just means like an animal or a creature that lacks a backbone. It doesn't have like a backbone. It doesn't have like an octopus or something like that. Like it does, or a jellyfish, or like it doesn't have an exoskeleton. But invertebrate, invertebrate. Huh. Yeah, they do say invertebrate, but I guess when I was a kid growing up, however I learned it, they told me just say invertebrate. Very interesting. But it looks like you can't pronounce it invertebrate or braid. Okay, sorry. I'm like distracted now trying to see why I am pronouncing it the way I'm pronouncing it. Okay, any other questions? All right, we'll go to our last paragraph down here. To address this issue, NASA has embarked upon a field expedition to examine the Earth's coral reefs. The Coral Project, short for the Coral Reef Airborne Laboratory, uses advanced optical instrumentation to survey the condition of coral reefs. This project will give scientists a unique opportunity to understand the ecology and condition of coral reefs at regional and global levels, rather than relying on patchy single-point surveys. It is hoped that by gathering accurate data across a wide range of reef ecosystems, scientists will be able to develop an overarching quantitative model that describes how and why reefs change in response to environmental challenges. Thank you, Theta, for explaining in the chat. I appreciate it. I always am so thankful when you guys are able to better explain and help when I am struggling. Okay, any questions in this last paragraph? Patchy from the chat. Patchy, okay, so like when you think about a patch, it's just like a small section of a bigger thing. So like people will patch like a hole in their clothes, right? And so that's just like a small section of the bigger garment. Or in this case, the whole coral reef. Previously, they were only able to go to a small part of it to get just a little bit of information because they don't want to disrupt the whole coral reef. Also, they can be really big sometimes. And so patchy is just using it as an adjective, adding a Y to like describe the noun survey by just saying it's like small little sections. It's not the whole picture. I'm trying to think of like another example. Yeah, anyways, it's just saying that like small sections instead of the whole picture. Anything else?
Just the question that's stuck in my head right now is from the first paragraph.
Yeah.
I just want to know how the reefs protect the shorelines from storms.
Yeah, I don't know. You're asking such great questions that I can't answer. I feel bad. Let's see. Reefs protect shorelines from storms. I would assume it has something to do with that the like storms and the waves and the stuff like interact with the reefs and the coral and all the stuff there, and so it's not hitting the shore in the same way. But let's see if Google, our kind friend, will give a better answer. It says reefs function like low-crested breakwaters. That doesn't answer my question. Yes, what I was thinking, it's like a buffer, and so it absorbs some of that energy and it helps it to not like get all the way up to where houses would be. It's like a barrier for the shoreline. That's not a very scientific answer, but that's the one Google is giving me.
I was just wondering if they can harvest it. Can they grow it also?
If they can what?
If they can harvest it, yeah.
I mean, I think they can. The problem is the like over harvesting, right? Like the taking too much of it, because then like that barrier is not there anymore, and the like fish and the other creatures that like are in that environment, that ecosystem, don't have the coral anymore. And so it just like causes some problems to like the whole ecosystem and like the the dependency of the different creatures on it, and then like it's saying like the waves to the shore. If you get rid of too much of it, it won't protect the shore anymore, that kind of stuff. But that you could probably harvest some of it.
Can they grow it as well, like any other plants?
Oh, I see what you meant. I thought you meant harvest like to like take some of it, but you meant like to grow it. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, let me see. Can you grow corn? That would be interesting. Grow coral. Okay, yes, you can, and people do it. Conservationists, like scientists that want to conserve or help the earth, they can like farm small amounts of coral to be able to start like replenishing the reefs and help them grow. This is very interesting. I suggest, because you have so many questions, Andy, I suggest you just, whenever you have some free time, it looks like there's some very interesting websites about like scientists and like ocean scientists, like what are they called when they're ocean scientists? There's a name for that. Marine biologists? That's like animals. Anyways, it looks like there's some very interesting websites that will give you some like real information.